Hi again. Thank you for choosing In My Shoes. I'm Hilda Kathy Broady, your host. Remember, we at In My Shoes are taking a different approach to service in the world. So get your pen and your paper because we don't have commercials and we don't want you to miss anything. I have a very special guest today. I have Rev Wayne A Williams, who's going to come and share some of the fantastic things he's doing because our community is in desperate need of wonderful people, and I'm going to highlight as many people as I can, as often as I can. So without further ado, welcome,
Well,
welcome,
thank you very
welcome.
much.
Thank you
Glad
for
to be
coming.
here. Glad to be here. I'm excited about the opportunity to come and share with you. Thank you very much for having me on your program today. We just want to talk a little bit about what we're doing and what we want to do in our community as far as bridging the gap between the church and the community.
First, name of your church, because I left that out. I'm
Oh,
TBI, so I forget
That's
stuff.
okay. The name of my church is Mount Hebron Baptist Church in the Bronx, where we serve as pastor at that church for the last 35 years.
Wow.
So we're excited. Again, we're excited about what we're doing. And actually, I'm on a goal to do more because I don't think that our church personally has done enough. But we're a small church, but I've seen small churches do great things. And that's what our goal is to do greater things for the Lord and for the community. So we just want to kind of highlight and then talk about some of the things that we'd like to see our church do in the community. Right now we have a senior program, which we operate a couple of days a week. We want to operate it 5 days a week. That takes resources and it takes committed individuals. We also have a soup kitchen where we feed a number of people every Tuesday. Those are just some of the things. We have a scholarship program. One of the things that hit me today about the scholarship program, because we have money in I said, the Lord spoke to me today and said, you know what? You have money in your scholarship fund, but you don't have anybody for the next 3 to 5, maybe 7 years who's going to receive that money from your church. What if you went into the school, sit down with the principal or sit down with the school staff and say, hey, our church wants to give a scholarship to a young boy or young girl from the school who's graduating and going to college. And that hit me today and said, you know what? When I get from here, I'm going to meet with the high school and talk to the principal and say, hey, you know, we have, whether it's 500, it's 1,000, whatever, it's going to help a young person. So that came into my spirit today, that we need to do that. And that's one of the things that we're going to talk about doing when I get back to my church with our trustees. Another important thing to me is that, and I think we've somewhat failed at that, is being more vocal in our community, responding to needs. I can remember when the young man was killed on my block a few years ago when the police kicked the door in. I was on 229th Street. Mm-hmm. I had a chance to speak to the mother afterwards. But following up with the family, a lot of times in some of the people there, the press was there, people were there because the press was there. But as soon as the press left, the people left.
That's what we're really good at.
We're good at that.
We're not proactive.
We're not proactive. You know, we're good at that. You know, we get
We're
the media's
reactive.
there, and as long as the media's there for the 2 weeks, the media was there. You know, there were preachers there were people, but there. But now, you
Nothing.
know, there's nobody to follow up with the family and say, hey, you know, how you doing? I see the mother from time to time because she lives across the street from me. You know, I'll speak to her and go, how you doing? But to actually follow up, because there's that continued hurt. That's your child. I mean, this child was killed in front of the
grandmother
and
the
the little sister, I believe it was.
Oh.
You know, they kicked in the door and the whole thing. So there's that continued hurt that goes on, and so we don't follow up with that. And I said, guilty myself from not being more proactive and more responsive. So that's one of the things that we want to do. We want to be more involved in the community. When there is an issue, we want to follow up, not just when it starts. I said to myself, I want to know everybody on my block. I'm a country boy. I'm from Oklahoma. We knew everybody. And I know coming here, migrating here, when you meet people that are kind of suspicious because New Yorkers don't have that dialogue, you know.
Shame on you. We do. Yes, we do. And
But I've gotten to know everybody on my block. I want that knowing there so that we can meet each other's needs as well. So that's one of the things and the church can be very instrumental. This is not just about salvation. This is about meeting up with injustice and fighting injustice. And the church has to take an active role in leading in that direction, not just preaching a sermon on Sunday morning, asking people to come to Christ. But there's so many hurting people out there. I meet people in our soup kitchen when I stop in. I meet people on our senior center when I stop in. There are so many hurting people. We preach and we meet and we greet, but what happens beyond that point? And so it's imperative with my church, and I believe with every other church. One of the problems I really find is that we could do more collectively as churches than we do individually. And I find there is this problem with us coming together and pooling our resources.
because everybody has their own fiefdom. Nobody wants to give up anything. Because I've been begging for years. We have so many positive programs in our community, but we're not linked.
We're not linked.
So everybody is trying to do everything, and everybody can't do everything. I'm specializing in this, and you have a specialty over here, and together we're great.
Wow, you know what we
Okay,
could do?
but I'm not giving up mine, and that's what's been happening. And I'm saying I don't want your fife. I don't want that. I just want people to be happy and to show the love and to take away some of the grief. And if you can help with that, or I can help you, and we can go out and find somebody else, because there's so much in our community that is hidden. Join together, we are outstanding.
We can be unbelievable.
We are
if we
outstanding.
link together, bring all our finances together.
Hello?
Can you imagine
We're rich.
what we as people of color could do?
We're rich.
We're rich. We're rich.
And
But you know what it is? It's one of the things, and I'm sorry, one of the things is we have our own agendas. Big eyes, who's going to be in charge? Who's going to be in charge of the money?
be in
Who's going
charge.
to who cares about who be in charge? The fact is, we're doing something beneficial for the people in our community. Start with the people in your community. You'd be surprised at the impact that we could have. I said to one of my organizations, I said, with all the Catholic schools that are coming up for sale, we could buy them.
Yes.
And create jobs.
Yes.
Instead of meeting, spending money,
Sick
doing
of
this.
meeting.
Sick of meeting.
I stopped
You know what?
going to meetings. I said we're meeting to discuss the meeting that the next meeting is going to be about, because we haven't taken care of the last 5 meetings. So I stopped going, because I was a member of the Bronx Clergy Criminal Justice Roundtable. All we did was meet.
All you did was meet.
And I said, I'm going to the jails. I'm meeting with the prisoners, and I'm helping them to find jobs. I'm feeling better about that than sitting down to discuss what's happening. Because we all know what's happening, what has happened, and what will happen if we don't stop it. So let's stop meeting, and I don't want to march. I don't want, if we march one more time, we have not overcome by marching.
What comes out of all of this?
No. There's one march that I will sanction. I will crawl. Show me where that lottery money is going. Because it was supposed to be for education.
Education.
Why are the teachers buying stuff for the kids and not being able to pay their rent if that money is going toward education? Because they put it in the general fund now. It's a secret tax.
It's going somewhere.
It's in the general fund now, so it's a tax.
It's
If it's in the general fund, it was specifically for education, then why are our kids not being educated? That's the only march I will sanction, and so that's all I'm saying is, we can come together in times of crisis. Well, we're in crisis now. We're in crisis now. We've never come out of crisis.
But there's never no plan in place for anything.
Even when you have a plan in place, then you reach to the government. I have a program, a different approach, youth bowling pro, and I won't reach to the government. I said, because every time they come in, they fix it so that it don't work anymore. So I want our community to help me to
It's almost like politics to give you enough to keep you coming. Don't give me nothing. Just let me
do it.
If there is a lake out there, don't you go fishing for me. Let me go fishing for myself. I know what's out there. I don't need you to fish for me because you may get something that's full of bones and you know what, it's going to take me forever to eat it. But if you say, look, there is the lake, you can go fishing, anything you catch, it's yours. And that's the way I feel about in that area. Now you mentioned something that I'm really thinking about seriously, and when you mentioned the criminal justice system, again, this is where church needs to take a role. Transition-wise, you have guys who are coming out who have no home, no support system. So with all the monies, watch this, with all the monies that Baptist churches take in every Sunday in the Bronx, supposing we got together and say, hey, you know what, all these vacant houses, we're going to buy them, we're going to create group homes. These guys transition out, they have no place to go. We're going to provide housing, we're going to provide transportation, we're going to provide medical things that they need. We're going to do all of this. And another thing that we're looking at is, I can remember when in Oklahoma, when kids came before a judge, and if the crime wasn't that, you didn't kill anybody, I could go down to the courthouse and say, Judge, you know what, release them to this group over here. And as long as they follow the rules of this group home for extended period of time, year or whatever, when that time is up, they're free. And I even spoke to a Bronx judge about it. He said, that's a great idea. You know what? Because we're looking for someplace else to send these kids instead of sending them to these
youth places, youth detention.
You know what? The clergy is there and say, hey, you know what? Give him to us. We got a group home. We house 30 people. We got a group home. They're going to go to school every day. We're going to pick them up from school. We're going to take them to school. Everything that they need is going to be in that group home. At 7 o'clock, you're in, you're going to do your homework, you're going to go to bed, you're going to get up and go to school. When you break the rules, you're going back to the court.
Okay, because
Okay.
I had wanted to meet them, I've been saying it for years, why can't we meet them going in?
That's it. Meet them going in.
I don't want them to spend time there so that they could get further corrupted. I want to meet them going in with a plan, with a plan in place.
We standing before the judge with them and said, this is the plan we have.
That's it.
Okay, as long as they adhere to the plan with us, when the time period is over, nothing goes on their record. They're complete, whatever you want to call it, it's done. And the courts are receptive to this. So how come the churches can't come together? Another area in the community, we can come together and formulate a plan to save our children because they're ours.
That's it.
Okay, they're ours. We make enough money, we give enough money to educate our children without them getting student loans, and if we really would focus on it, if we really cared.
If we really, I mean, not the tokenism, because I've seen that it's a lot of tokenism. I mean, I did get a scholarship. I had a Fordham scholarship and I had a UFT scholarship. But I only had one student loan, and I didn't have to worry about spending the first 10 years after I graduated to pay back that student loan, because we haven't put the work ethic in our kids, though. Because also I carried 16 credits a semester, but I worked 3 part-time jobs. We haven't put, okay, you have to work for some too. I'm not going to give everything to you.
Right.
And kids tend to now feel like they're entitled.
Well, you know,
Because mothers have said, and I understand, if you coming up really, we were poor. And I've said it, we couldn't even afford the OOR. We couldn't. It just wasn't there. But the next gen, okay, so my sisters and brothers said, well, my kids are never going to have this problem. We're going to have to, and they tried to give their kids everything. And I'm saying, but they don't know that they need to sell Kool-Aid, or they need to go sweep somebody's hall, or they need to go
cut somebody's grass.
well, we not no grass in Brooklyn, but there was no grass in the projects in Jersey, so that wasn't an option. But they didn't think about how to make money. You don't crochet, you don't do anybody's nails, you don't braid anybody's hair. How are you making your money? I'm going to mom and dad and going, they don't even want to cash in cans and bottles. They're going, that's for the homeless
that's
people.
For the homeless people.
Excuse me? So if we don't put the work ethic in our young people, no matter what programs you set up for them, they're still going to feel entitled to whatever is out there. And that's not really reality. Because the real world is not going to give it to them. Matter of fact, if you try, and then you're going to try to take it, and then we're going to fix you so that you ain't going to take no more because you're going to be over there
Over there.
earning slave wages. Because I just found out that Louisiana, because I've been asking, how much do people in prison make per hour? Because I know that's the new slavery. And I found out Louisiana is the lowest paying because they pay 4 cents an hour. Hello?
Well, in the state of Oklahoma, back in the 70s, it was like, it all depends, it was like $5 a month, $10 a month.
That's about
Yeah,
2 cents an hour.
yes.
And I haven't been able to get the young people to realize that ain't the money. Even if you made minimum wage, it's more than 4 cents an hour. And come on, you can do more than that because there are many opportunities out there, but you have to be willing to do a little bit of the work.
A little bit, you know. And again, you're right on the money when you said work ethics, because I worked when I was a kid.
Hello?
I baled hay. I did all kinds of stuff when I was a kid. I was born in the country.
I was
I'm a
born in
country
Brooklyn,
baby.
and we all work.
Yeah, I was born at home in the house. So
Oh, that was, no, my mother
that's
was
real
rocking
country.
now.
When the doctor got there, I was already there.
Oh, you waving at him going,
I was
okay.
already waving at him. But, you know, we were taught work ethics.
You have to work.
And today they're not taught that. And we don't want them to do this, we don't want them to do that. But it's good for them because
For real.
teaches them responsibility. It teaches them that you're like you say, entitled. When you work for it, you appreciate it.
I appreciate whatever I get.
Whatever I get.
And I want you to try to take it from me.
I'm not letting you take it from me.
Hello, I want you to try so that I
I'm-
can explain to you why you can't have it.
I'm sorry about that. But, you know, we don't do that. But that starts at home.
Yes.
You know, it starts at home. At church, we can help you as much as we can. But it does start at home. The parents have to do that. And I know we I don't want my kid to have to do this. I don't want them to have to do this. Well, there's some things they need to do. They need to learn. But we're still going to do our part. The church still has to do its part. And I do believe that if we do our part, then it will make a difference in the child. And they don't have to rely on so much of outsiders.
That's
you know,
what it is. Because the church is a family.
Church is a family. The church, unfortunately, the church has kind of lost that luster that it had. I was reading, it was some years ago, I was reading an article, I believe it was in USA Today. Not USA, it was in Daily News. And they did a survey on the most influential organizations in the country, and the church was number 8.
Wow, isn't that scary?
That's scary. I can remember when nothing happened in the community unless it went by the church.
And what happened? What happened? I think a couple of decades back, some money was disseminated to the churches. I'm not sure if it was in the Bronx, but some money was disseminated, and then I started not hearing so much about the church's prominence. The government put that money there, and I was like, now they're in the church. Uh-oh. And that's where people are going. Uh-oh. Then it's not God anymore. Because if we're putting the money in the church and the government is putting the money in the church, the government rules. And they're going to rule our church too. What happened to separation of church and state? Because the church is supposed to be about love.
The church is about love.
And the government is not so much about the love. It's supposed to be about keeping us together, but it's not the same.
What happened to government? Because when you look spiritually, when you look, God established kingdoms. So there has been that togetherness. It's just, when you think about heaven, Lucifer got out of hand. He wanted more. Okay, he wanted to be in charge.
So he's in charge of his own place
So
now.
he's in charge of his own place. But when it all comes to the end, God is still in charge. What happens is, it's just like in any other organization, when whoever puts the money in controls.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah, controls. I used to hear him talk about basketball players and all the money they make and all that. I'm going, it ain't black people that you see sitting up in that booth, or sitting in that stadium, or sitting in that wherever. It's them. And whoever pays you controls you.
Hello.
So if they're paying you $150 million a year,
You're going to be whatever
you're
they
going to
say.
be whatever they say that you got to be. That's why sometimes I'm leery, about things that when we start talking about getting funding from the government to do this in our church and do this in our church.
Go to the community.
You got to be careful about that, because once you
It's scary.
once you start doing that, then they start looking at whatever you doing and how you're doing it and all of that.
They're going
So you
to
gotta-
they're going to fix what's not broke,
They're going to fix it.
and it's not healthy.
It's not healthy
For-
to the church, not healthy for the community, which the church is supposed to be that light in the community. We're supposed to be
The rock.
the rock of the community. What, sometimes people will come by and they want their rent paid or whatever, and the pastor, I say, it's not for us to judge. If you come by and say, you know what, I need money to pay my rent, and you take it and do something else with it, that's on you. Why am I missing my blessing? Because I did what I'm supposed to do. So we have to be that rock in the community. We have to know what's going on in our community so we can be, that's why I encourage folk all the time, go to community board meetings. I didn't know until I got on the community board some years ago how much money comes through there that they control.
Yes.
Everything that comes in there comes through the community board. You need to be, I'm going to the community board meetings and I'm not seeing none of us up in there.
And you're not gonna. We don't even know where they are. We don't know when they meet.
You need to know when they meet.
That's what I'm saying.
Mine is right there on 229th in White Plains Road. I know where it is. I know when they meet. You need to know. You need to be there. It's like if I don't vote, I have no reason to say anything. Oh,
Exactly.
it's not going to change nothing. If everybody keeps saying that, it's not going to change
Exactly.
anything.
And I think we're now in a time when this is the first time I ever heard that they were actually in the high schools registering 17-year-olds who are going to be 18 in November to vote. They're registering them now. Now, we want to keep the momentum going because I don't want you to just register. I want to see you at the polling place.
I want to see you at the vote.
Because I was at the polling place this morning because I wanted to go before I came here so that I could just say, we're going to really make a difference in this primary. And there was nobody in front of me. Okay, and it was 10-something this morning, and there was only one person behind me, and he lives on the 6th floor in my building. So I was going, this is kind of important. We really have to, I don't know how we can make people understand that your vote and my vote and everybody's vote counts. And I just keep saying, look at my street and see the hole that's been there forever. Why is the hole still there? Because nobody's holding the people accountable because you're not voting and saying if you don't fix the hole, you're not going to be in office anymore.
We don't take interest in the local elections for some reason. Those city council and those other. We don't take an interest in that.
And it's pitiful
It
because
is
it's only
pitiful.
the
major
federal election.
Yeah, and still we don't.
And then-
We needed the lines 2 years ago that we had when Obama first. You remember those lines that we had when Obama was running?
But the second one, midterm, there was nobody there.
There was nobody there.
No, I was there and I was going, wow,
Yeah,
they're not
well,
coming. They're really
yeah,
not going to come.
we don't understand.
So
that
you left him with a Congress that said, every time he said up, they said nope, down.
this is no
He said
doubt.
blue, they said no green. He said,
And so you're complaining, but you didn't do anything to help him.
You need to-
because in those what we call them
Midterm elections?
midterm elections, like now, who's going to vote?
everybody better be out there.
I'm going
There should be lines around the corner. Well, maybe not today because, I mean, really,
But basically, this is
I
the
saw the ballot.
The Democratic Party.
I see it. I saw the ballot, and I mean, there's the Attorney General, the Governor, and the Lieutenant Governor, and that's all that's on the ballot. That's it. There's no councilman, none of that's on the ballot for this primary. So that's not November. People better be there.
People better be there.
People better be there and bring your grandmother too. I want to see, like, when I went to poll watch in Mississippi, because I ain't had no sense when I was 17. I was 18. They came because Medgar Evers' brother was running for governor, and they needed people to go down to poll watch. And so we didn't know that because we were dumb. No, we were young, and we didn't realize
you
that.
were just
We were registered voters. And we thought if we registered to vote, we could vote anywhere. So we're going to Mississippi, so we'll just vote in Mississippi while we're down there poll watching because we're going to be at the polls. Unfortunately, they didn't let us vote because they said you needed to vote in your state.
Right.
But what I'm saying is they were bringing people in on gurneys
to vote.
to vote. Dead people voted. And we had a list of dead people. And I said, but I thought they were in it. There was nothing that we could do about it because they would have shot us. But So I'm saying if we could just get the people in my building, I would be happy. If everybody in my building went to vote on my block. It's only one block. Just get everybody up the street. And it's only 2 blocks away. It's not like you got to take a bus to go vote. And they don't give you coffee or anything. You don't need coffee or anything. Just go vote.
Just go vote.
It takes 5 minutes, in and out.
Just go vote. And also, not just voting, but I say to people in my church, be an educated voter.
Right.
Okay. Take time out. And I'm from Oklahoma, which is pretty much a Republican state. The area that I lived in, the Republican won. He won not because it could have gone the other way, but he won because, guess what? He listened to the constituency in that area. He listened to us. And unless we speak out and get them to listen to us, then we're always going to be this. I admired Senator Ruth Haskell Thompson. She lived her office is down the street from my church. And she would fuss at me all the time. She says, Pastor, I need you to come to Albany. She says, just don't come up here just when you feel like it. But I need you to come to my office, sit down and talk to me and tell me what the community is saying. She said, when you do that, I know how to vote because I want to vote the conscience of the people that I serve in the community. If the law works for them, then that's where I want it to work for them. So I need you all to come. And she'd fuss at me all the time when she'd see me about, not being an active, being educated. I'm on the flip side of the coin. I'm not a Democrat, but I'm an educated voter. In other words, don't take me for granted. And I do think this happens so many times with us.
They assume that we're
They
gonna
assume because actually I did not vote for the person in the White House. That was not on my list. Okay, never would have. But I'm educated to the point that I'm looking at the ballot, and I'm looking at the person that's running, and I'm reading their record, so that I can make an intelligent decision. Because every Democrat and every Republican and every independent is not in the best interest of us.
Exactly.
I tell people sometimes, I say, I know we're not going to read bills, but sometimes you need to look at something because sometimes there's stuff attached to that bill.
That's gonna
The overall bill is good, but there's little stuff that's attached to it
That's going to make us.
that's going to make us wish that bill had never been passed. So we have to be careful about these things. Again, I tell politicians when they come to our church, you're not on my time. My time is Sunday morning. I will give you some time, but I also expect to see you back. I don't expect to see you prior to the election and I don't see you anymore.
You're invisible.
Yeah, you're invisible. So when you come, I'm going to give you a few moments, but you're not getting all that time because that belongs to me and the Lord. Amen.
Hello.
That's his show on Sunday morning. But I think that the church needs to be active in that political realm as far as speaking out about the best No, we're not. I'm not targeting. I'm not saying. I'm not campaigning for you. But when I see something that needs to be said, and I know in that pulpit that Sunday morning, I have that captive audience who's looking at that pastor who has that influence. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna say, hey, I'm not telling you how to vote, but you need to read up on who's running, and you need to vote intelligently
Thank you.
and vote.
And actually, not even just voting. Like, they were getting ready to do the plastic bag tax. It wasn't just a plastic bag, though. They were going to tax all bags.
Oh, yeah.
5 cents.
Yeah.
And give it to the stores. I wrote letters to everybody from the governor to the mayor to all the city council people, and I said, if you were telling the stores come up with an alternative, and that's why you're getting these nickels, then I could almost think about that. But you saying here, take the money, and you haven't come up with a solution to the problem. So you're just going to make them richer? I think not. And I think that we're going to be making a whole lot of. I ran that show 5 times. Come on. Get to these people's offices and make them hear you. You coming up with ways to take my money from me. You still haven't fixed a hole in the street, but you're going to take money because of my plastic bags? No. And I don't want plastic bags anyway. And they were going to do the brown paper bags too. Give me a box.
You're so right. Again, this is where church can speak up.
And actually, it was a reverend that came on because I didn't even know it was coming down the pike. And he said, I got to come on because I got to tell these people about this. People don't know what they're getting ready to do because they kind of slide it by.
And that's where we come in. Again, we have to stay up on top of what's going on in our community. That necessitates that I read, I stay up on top, I go to my political office down the street. Jamal's office is right down the street from mine. I need to know. So on Sunday mornings, when I have time, which I do have time, I need to convey, hey, this is happening. Just like redistricting.
What did they do? They made things so I don't even know the districts anymore.
You don't know the districts anymore. But guess what? It was surely for their benefit. And we didn't know. It just came so quick.
They just put a homeless shelter around the corner from my house. And I'm going, and I have no problem with the homeless shelter. I have a problem that it's only a men's shelter and it's a huge facility, and I think that it would have serviced families better. I just think that it would have. It used to be Fags Outro on Jerome Avenue.
Okay, I know what you're talking about.
It's huge.
Huge.
It's huge.
It's
So
huge. It's huge.
I'm not sure who thought about it, but we never knew about it until I saw the police out there arresting somebody the other day, and I was like, that's what they were doing around there. So it's a men's shelter. And
They put one on Fordham. It's beautiful too. But the people didn't know it was coming in. They thought it was just regular housing. But it's not, because they made it such a nice building right there on Fordham. And you can see it as you're going down 87 on Fordham Road. You get over to the left.
Really?
Yeah, it's beautiful. And my members live over there on, Fordham Hill in that co-op section over there. And they was like, Pastor, they put that in. Nobody knew anything about it. And these things have to be, okay, but at least say to the community, we're bringing it.
What's needed?
It's needed.
It's needed.
It's needed. It's definitely needed. Again, and that's one of the things that I truly hope that our church can do, is look in that area of taking buildings, and because we can. If we come together, maybe my church can't afford to do it, but if we come together, if 3 or 4 or 5 churches come together, we could do this, and we could provide housing, senior housing. There's plenty of that, but housing for homeless, housing for guys coming out of the prison system. These things are extremely important, because if you don't, prisons are being built for people of color.
Of course. It's the new
Right
slavery.
now, I think there's 40, if I'm not mistaken, there are 48 private prisons in this country, because how lucrative they are. So
free labor.
Yeah, free labor, and many of them are built in communities where they do need the jobs, but their brother get it, their uncle get it, everybody in the family is not working, so everybody got a job, which is important. But we have to keep that recidivism rate down.
We have a prison, I think 2 now, upstate. There's nobody in them. They're fully staffed, but they're just waiting for the prisoners to come.
They will be coming.
And I'm going, no, and I'm down here going to the kids. No, you don't want to do that.
You don't wanna do that.
We have other things that you can do.
You can do.
Please listen to what and they're going. Yeah, Miss Kathy.
Well, you're going to have that group that's not going to take your word for it, and they're not going to understand until those doors shut behind them and their freedom is taken away.
I know.
But you want to save them.
And you sit there, and even when I tell them, I said, and I understand about poverty. I said, I'm the one that didn't have a coat, but I wouldn't go to school. I would only go to school to take tests, because I had to take 3 buses and walk 6 blocks, and it was cold outside, and I didn't have a coat until I opened up and told somebody that I didn't have a coat, after that they failed me in history and because I got failed. I was getting 95s on the tests, but I must have been cheating because I wasn't in class, or there was no class participation until I went to the guidance counselor and said, look, I'm going to college and they can't fail me. Look at all my tests. I got 95s. The lowest grade I got is a 95. And she said, well, why aren't you coming to school? And I said, because when we put my coat in the cleaners, I didn't have the $250 to get it out, and they sold it. So she said, well, what can we do to get your mother to get you another coat? And I said, tell welfare to give her more money. But who goes to school and says, I ain't got no money? Really? No. Kids are ashamed. Kids are ashamed. And I'm trying to let them know, it's okay to ask for help.
That's it.
It's okay.
It's okay.
And if people say no to me, I say, well, if you can't help me, where do you think I should go? It's just like people don't want to, if they don't know something, they don't understand something, they don't say, huh? Could you explain that to me?
No, they don't.
I don't want you to think I'm stupid, but I need you to explain it to me. And if I ask you something and you don't know, then we need to together go find out.
That's right.
And people don't, especially the young folks, because they think they know everything because they got that thing there that's
Well, you
deep.
can find everything on it nowadays. But when people, even with, I tell them all the time, if you ask me something I don't know about the Bible, you know what? I know so many people. I'm getting on the phone and calling them.
Thank you.
I'm not going to tell you, well, I think, no, I'm getting on the phone and calling somebody I know that can answer the question. And I'll tell you, wait, I can't answer that. I don't have all the answers. I don't care where I went to school at. I don't have all the answers.
Thank you.
But I will find the answer for
Let me
you.
look.
Make it comfortable so when people come, they're not ashamed to ask for help if they need it. Sometimes, I've been at this a long time. I've been where I am 35 years, been in ministry 48. This is my second church. And I love the size of my church. Everybody likes numbers, but you know what? I can look at you on Sunday morning, at 80, 90, 100 people. I can look at them on Sunday morning and I can feel that there's something not right. And when I can feel that, I'm going to you.
Right.
I'm going to you and say, what's bothering you? Oh, Pastor, how you doing? I can feel you. I see you every Sunday. I've been there, so I know there's something going on. So you're not embarrassed to say, yeah, Pastor, there's a problem. Come on in the office, let's talk about it. I need help. I need this. I need that. And we just can't come in, preach these great sermons, shut the doors, see you next
Lock
Sunday,
the
or see
door.
you Wednesday, lock the door. Don't know what's going on with your people. Don't know if they are in your community where you live. You don't know what's going on. You're not on top of it. And I'm not talking about just for people who belong to your church. I'm talking about for people in general, because they live within that area that you pastor in.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd love to have my church open 7 days a week, 6 o'clock in the morning till 10 o'clock at night. You come in 6 o'clock in the morning, have prayer, do whatever you need, talk to me. I'm in my office. Well, people know they can talk to me about anything, but that's the way I want to see my church, that we're open.
See,
that
you're like in the olden days, because even back then, people don't think that Catholic churches, because I'm Catholic, people didn't think that Catholic churches were except on Sunday mornings. And I'm saying, but my priest saved my life. I was going to kill myself when I was 11, and he had a chat with me about life.
And see, that's another thing churches don't address. We're coming in October. There's so many suicides. You need to know what to do or how to address, because people sitting in your congregation in Sunday mornings, you have no idea what's going on in their mind.
Yes.
I mean, when I read about the people who committed suicide, I'm like, well, they got everything. And you'd say, oh, that's for the person who's depressed or going through a rough state of mind. A lady who worked $150 million killed herself.
Yes.
The cook killed himself.
Yes.
These are people who had, you would think, everything. And in our congregation. I did my first suicide funeral, had never done one before. And the young man, 34 years old, if you'd read, his obituary was as thick as this iPad and as wide as your notepad. All the accomplishments he had done in the military and since he got out. And his girlfriend said he was just talking to her, turned around, walked over 24 floors, and jumped out the window. You never know. So we have to address, again, churches have to address issues of these concerns. We need workshops to understand how to tell when a person may be at that verge. People sitting there looking at you, you think they're fine. So there are so many areas that I really want to see the church march out into, instead of just having church on Sunday morning, giving the benediction, and going home. I want to be at the church every day when the seniors come. I want to talk to them for a few minutes, share with them, let them see me, let them know that, hey, you know what, you got something you want to talk, come and talk to me. I have people come and, Pastor, can you have prayer with me? Sure. I'm not asking you what it's about, because it ain't none of my business. You just said have prayer with me, because God already knows what you're dealing with. So I'm just lifting that person up to, and whatever their issues are, Lord, you already know about them. But we have to go beyond just preaching and praying. We have to move.
We have to do.
We have to do. Church becomes doable. It means we have to do, not just sit there and watch what's going on, and be vocal.
I'm so glad that what has changed. I remember when I was a little kid, church was a fashion show, and we couldn't go because we didn't have the fashion. And we didn't go because we was raggedy. We was ragamuffins.
Well, darling, let me tell you that,
It's still a fashion show?
in some places it's still a fashion show.
Oh, that's a shame.
We have at our church cut out on that. I'm not. This is probably the dresses I've been in a minute, because, and I tell people, if people don't like what you got, tell them to give you something. Or how many clothes you got in your closet you can't wear? and you holding on talking about I'm gonna lose weight. If you haven't lost weight in 10 years, you're not losing no weight. Give them away. We're not, as you can see, especially in a lot of TV ministries. I have a couple of good friends of mine, pastors Hughes churches. The boy preaches in a t-shirt, or he preaches in a shirt and a jacket. Communion Sunday, yes, he's dressed. But the priests in the olden days, they were recognizable. And I don't think we need to lower ourselves to the level where people don't know who we are. But I don't think we need to flood it to the point where I got to have all of this, I got to be all of this. I think we can be on the level and not be on the level, if you understand what I mean.
But I'm not talking about the clergy. I'm talking about the congregants.
Oh, yeah.
Is it
Oh, yeah. The women had the hats that were bigger than whatever. Things of that nature.
And we didn't have a hat.
We just went, because I went to a country church. We walked a mile to church every Sunday. We had everything that we needed, but it's not as much. But
I see people going in now, and they're dressed regular. I mean,
Different
I'm not saying
crowd.
go rags.
Different crowd.
Oh,
Remember, different crowd. Young people don't do what grandma and grandpa did or what mom and daddy did. So it's a different age group, a different crowd. I have 3 associates, and I say to them all the time, and they're all very well educated, which you have to be, because guess what? You have a much more educated crowd sitting in your congregation today.
And they're going to call you on stuff.
And they're going to call you on stuff if you mess up. As again, I say, if I don't know what I'm saying, I mean, not what I'm saying, but if someone don't understand something, I'm very careful, because they will call you on it, or they will be sitting there on their iPads going, where did he get that from? Is that his, or did he get that from somebody else? So, yeah, you have to understand that the crowd is different. And they are coming, emotionalism was great in the day. You'll see less hoopology today than you did. And there's nothing wrong with it. Dr. C.A.W. Clark, who's one of my mentors, used to say all the time, boy, it's good to have some gravy, but you better have said something before you put the gravy on. You have this group, and this is something else. People come to church now looking for a real church. I say that because they're looking for people who are honest.
Thank you.
Everybody in church got a history.
Don't we?
Some of it is current.
It's going on. When I walk out the door, it's going to continue.
It's going to continue. Stop acting in church like you so holy, like you was born on the pew. Okay, understand, people need to know that God saves people who has made mistakes. And he knew we were jacked up when he created us, but he still loved us. Okay, so stop acting like, oh, I'm so holy, I don't do this, I don't do it. The only reason you don't do it is because you can't. So don't get mad at these young people, what they doing, oh, they doing this and that. You wished you could. You just can't do it no more. That's what it is. But young people today are looking for a church that's real, that will own up. That child is not the first child that's had a baby out of wedlock.
Hello.
And I told somebody in my church, they said, oh, are you going to have her to come before the church? I said, if I had her to come before the church, I'd be in line in front of her, and all of y'all need to be behind me. Mm-hmm. She don't know that nobody, nothing in here but God. That's between her and God. You gonna lose her because of a baby? The only reason people don't know that you had yours is because you sent it down south.
Hello.
To live with Auntie Sue or somebody else.
Until they got to be 5.
Until they got to be 5. The church has to be real. It has to be transparent so that people can see that people who are in church have not been in church all their life, that we're saved by the grace of God, and we're here every day because of his mercy.
Yes.
And that's the only reason.
And we're in church because we need God.
We need God, okay? Yeah, they need God, but they need to see people, yeah, you know what? Yeah, I've been to prison. Yeah, I was smoking dope.
There.
Yeah, I've been there, done that. So I can tell you about it.
Let me help you.
So that you don't make the same mistake and lose the years in my life that I lost.
Spending your time unwisely.
Yeah,
when there's other things that we could be doing.
When there's other things that you could be doing. Come on, church, be real so people will know that church is for people who've made mistakes. Look, just go through the Bible.
Hello.
There's a list of them. A litany of names I can give you. When you read all of them, David, after God's own heart. What?
Well,
You know?
didn't one of them kill their own
Didn't one of
brother?
them kill their own brother? Didn't one
Cain
of
and
them
Abel?
kill somebody to get their wife? You know, come on. let's be
Real.
honest and transparent. That God loves us so much, yes, that he died, he sent his son, but you know, it's to save, not to save people, but to save people who need to be saved. And all of us need to be saved. And hey, you know what? I'm saved. I tell people, I was baptized when I was 12. I didn't get saved until I was 25. Back in the old days in Baptist church, you had to belong to church to be in anything. So I went and got baptized, got took to the old pond, got baptized, plus I was chasing some girl I wanted to be around. So you're doing all these good things. But I got saved when I was 25. You know. And guess what? Messing up every day, but God, it is not deliberate, but God still what? He still favors me, even though I mess up every day. You know, and that's the wonderful thing about it. So in reality, my thing is that the church has to be transparent, which is very important, more vocal. We're not just preaching. Jesus was a liberator. He didn't care who you were. I'm going to tell you what he'll do, but I'm not going to keep beating you over the head. Because I believe in due time, the Bible teaches that if we sow, he will water. So if I tell you, I'm not going to keep beating you over the head, you know, with it. I pray that you will come to know him before it's, you know, everlasting too late. But as far as church is concerned, let's be the church that God requires in these last and evil days. Let's stand up and be heard, and let's minister to people where they're hurting, and not just here, but maybe we need to do it continuously. Maybe I need to see you every week if you're going through something. My best friend lives in Oklahoma. We've been best friends for probably 45 years. We have this accountability thing. Because sometimes I'll call him up and go, well, you need to come save me. Why? I say, it's a hot day and my eyes are not straight. Because ain't nobody out here got on nothing. You need to say, so we'll laugh about it. But it's accountability. And speaking to him keeps me straight. Or he'll call me up. Speaking to him keeps us both straight. We men have problems. We need to sit down and talk about it.
Yes.
And most of us won't admit that we're depressed or we need help. I tell my church, I support therapy. I support psychologists. If you need to go, go. It's not because you're crazy. You're going to keep you from getting crazy.
Crazy up.
You know,
Doing crazy stuff.
and as African Americans, we won't own up to when we need some help. You know,
Because then I'm weak.
Yeah, you think I'm weak, or people look down on you. In my counseling class, I was talking to my counselor one day, and he said, "Anybody here ever went to see a therapist?" I said, "Yeah, I did." He said, "This is Christian counseling class," and I said, "Guess what? I didn't seek out a Christian therapist." He said, "Why?" I said, "Because I didn't need anybody to judge me. I need somebody to listen and to probe what came out of my mouth to help me to see what was deep down inside of me,
Strange that you should say
to
that.
help me be who I needed to be, because there was stuff I discovered about me I didn't know, and I needed to understand things about me. So I didn't need anybody to tell me we're going to pray about it. I had already prayed about it, okay?
Now I need somebody to hear me.
I need somebody to hear me now. So don't tell me we're going to pray about this and it's going to be, nope. I said it was well worth $150 an hour to go sit and talk to him and get done what needs to be done.
And people tend to not want to, because I went to therapy. Well, the first time I went I was in school. I was graduate school, and they said, you cannot be a counselor unless you've at least been counseled. You need to know what it feels like to be on the other side. So I went for that, and actually she was Jewish.
See that?
Yeah, it was good.
See that?
Okay, and then the last time I went was after 9/11, and I was going to work and saying things like, we need to kill all because we at war now, and I was saying it out loud at work, and I work for the state. So my supervisor said, Hilda, you need to go get some help because you can't say that here. So I said, what are you talking about? And he said, you said that out loud.
Somebody else heard
And
that.
he said, no, 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 no. So I went, and my therapist, and I even took my mother. That's how good it was, because my mother had a stroke, and she was angry. And they were saying that they put my mother in Creedmoor. She wasn't crazy. She was angry with her stupid children. So I took her to my therapist, and my therapist said, her children need to get their act together. My mother couldn't speak, but the therapist understood. And I was going, please help us, and don't be afraid to go, so that when I see my clients, I say, I've been there.
Been
I
there.
did that.
Been
And
there.
it's all cool. But you have to take care of you, and we can help. And that's all we want to do is help. And that's what the church is doing too. Your church is, we can help. We can't do it for you. We can help. But what I would like the churches to do is explain more about hell.
About hell.
Hell. It's just a four-letter word. And I think that people think, well, if I'm not going to heaven, I'm going to hell, and I'm going to do what I want in hell. But hell is not hell. You ain't going to have no fun down
You
there.
ain't gonna have no fun down
That's
there.
not that's not where you get to do what you
What
wanted
to
to do
do.
bad. That's where you get things done to you that's going to be worse. And they don't understand that hell is really not just a four-letter word. It's
No,
going to be
it's
torture.
gnashing of teeth and all that. I tell them sometimes, if you ever burnt yourself, you know what a little burn feels like.
I'm telling your whole body.
And there's not going to be a burn plant that you can go get and rub on your burn, and it's going to stop burning. That's not the way it's going to be. We got to get out of that.
Heaven and hell, and into just can we be nice to each other now and not worry about hell later?
No, you got to worry about it.
I'm not going there.
But we ain't going there. Now, if you're not going there, you don't need to worry about it.
There you go.
And I hear some people, well, Pastor, I'm not sure. Well, if you study this word, you should be sure. There's no way I'm going to study God's word and be wondering all the way up to my death where I'm going to spend eternity.
Hello.
Something is wrong.
Definite.
The Bible says he will not leave you ignorant. So something is wrong. And unfortunately, we preach this prosperity gospel that God is going to, we all going to be rich and all of this. And we never talk about hell. We talk about heaven. Well, guess what? Everybody ain't, excuse the word, ain't not going there. And from pulpit to door, it's not going there. But you need to make preparations because you know what? People are dying every day. I go to the cemetery to see my mother's grave. I look around, I see all the graves of people who are, I'm 67, and I said to my buddy the other day, I said, out of probably 400 some people in our graduating class, is there 100 of us left? So I consider myself truly blessed that the Lord has let me stay here these few years. And sometimes I say, Lord, why you leave me here? Well, I better know. There is a purpose for me.
You have something that you haven't
there's
done.
something that, and every day I get up, Lord, what is it I haven't done that I need to do? Because just in case at 5 o'clock I'm not here, I need
Make
to-
sure I
wanna
handle my
make sure
business.
I've handled my business according to the way you want me to handle it. So, that's extremely important.
And people don't thank God enough.
Oh, absolutely.
Because my sister-in-law says that I'm a little flaky because I thank God for everything. I thank God for parking spots.
Praise the Lord.
You lived on
Especially
my block.
in this city. I just drove around and around this college looking for a parking spot.
I said, but if you thank God, God is not angry with you if you say thank you.
No. And we just spend a little time saying thank you. God, I just thank you. I thank you for my ups and my downs. Because guess what? They have helped me to learn and to grow. So, I hate this, had that. Well, you think God didn't know it was going to happen?
How you handling it?
Yeah, it's how you handle it. Storms in your life don't come to kill you, they come to make you better. Yeah, there are going to be some storms in our lives. And we have to understand that. We want every day to be a better way. It's not going to be. But one thing I do know, I can handle anything with he who gives me the strength. It's how you handle the storm, okay? Because it's going to come. But how do you manage in the storm?
I've learned now, stop screaming and hollering
Stop
and
screaming
yelling
and
and
hollering
cussing.
and yelling and going on.
Bring it
Because
down
first
a
of all,
notch.
I'm his child. And watch this. You're only going through it And that's the shout word. I'm only going through it. It's not going to last always. I'm going through it. And once I get through it, I'm good to go. And we got to help other people understand the same thing. You had a storm, my storm may be different, and my storm may be the same. As Rena say sometimes, it's good to share what you actually have gone through, because you may have somebody sitting over there going, wow, I'm going through the same thing. I'm having a hard time dealing with the fact I'm divorced. Or I can't take care of these children. I'm having a hard time. I'm used to him being here. Now I'm doing this all by myself. And you sitting over there, you've been through it, and you want to say, baby, this is how I can help you get through it. Divorced people coming together, single people coming. You can be single and happy.
Yes.
How do you be single? You can be single, sleeping in that big old bed all by yourself, just you and the Lord. We don't share enough as children of God to help other people get through their mistakes, their misery, whatever it is. We sit there like, I ain't never done nothing. I'm self-righteous. I'm a member of the frozen chosen. Nothing's never happened bad in my life. And somebody is hurting. People come to my church, they visit. I try to call them within 36 hours just to let them know, hey, you know what? We're here for you. Thank you for coming. I hope you enjoyed yourself, because we certainly enjoyed you being here. You know, because sometimes you never know. They would come because they want somebody to talk to. So don't always rush out. Don't go get in the car, go get on the train. Somebody may want somebody to talk to, just to say, I'm going through something. Or just to talk to. Sometimes I just need somebody to talk to. I don't need to say it. I just want somebody to talk, just listen. And that's what we got to start doing as people of God, as churches, and stop just meeting on Sundays and when our midweek service. But what are we doing in the community? How does the community know that we are there? How can we minister to hurting people in the community? I don't care what color you are, it does not matter. We've had churches, funerals at our church, and people say, Pastor, how much they paying? They're not paying nothing. They need a place. That's what we're there for. Well, who's going to feed them? We got food. We can feed them. We ain't got to worry about that. I truly believe when we focus, and our theme for this upcoming year, our anniversary, is pursuing the heart of God. And when you pursue the heart of God, then you start acting like God would want you to act, because you're already created in his image. So I'm pursuing his heart. And when you pursue his heart, it makes you respond to people. And then your blessings come.
That's
you
it.
know, every need, we got needs in our church right now. And I'm saying, you know what? If we really focus on God's heart and responding to what God would tell us to do as a church, I think whatever need we have, God will provide it.
Always has.
And when we start spending money on ministry, doing ministry, helping people instead of paying bills, because usually that's what we end up doing. The money we raise in our churches pay bills. But when we start doing real community ministry, and we bought up 1,000 book bags and gave them to the kids, or things like this, whatever, when we start really doing that, or just having dinner for people to come in the community. Hey, come to our church for dinner. We just having a dinner. It's no soup kitchen. It's no senior. It's just a church dinner for the community. Get to know, hey, I want to introduce our church to you. I want to introduce myself to you. I'm Wayne Williams. I'm the pastor. Or Wayne Williams. The white people just say, I'm Bob. I'm Brother Bob. We got to be Reverend Dr. Bishop and all of that.
Okay.
But me, I'm just, and I appreciate the respect as we should. But get to know our people in the community. Hey, this is our church. Just wanted to invite you in. Come on, we're having a movie today. Come up. We had a fish fry at our church this weekend. It was so interesting. We had my buddy from Oklahoma came. He cooked. We had great fish and stuff. But the guy 2 doors down, it was called Dinner in a Movie. The guy 2 doors down in his deli, you know what he did? He sent popcorn over. I don't even know this guy.
Well, you need popcorn for the movie.
Well, we had food. Everybody had food to eat. They ate too much anyway. But the thought was, this man, 2 doors down in his deli, knew that we was having a movie. He sent popcorn. So I went over to thank him. Some of the other people went over to thank him, because he didn't have to do that. And usually when somebody comes in the community and they open up a store, I'll introduce myself and say, hey, welcome. try to encourage my church members, if you're going over there to get a soda, if you're going over there, go over there and patronize. But I thought that was that just blew my mind, because I don't remember what nationality he was. He wasn't black. I do know that. But just for him to do that and not knowing nothing about us, just think if everybody knew our church and what it was on that block. Because now I'm to the point where it bothers me that people don't know we're there as much as I like for them to do. They'll come by for something we have and go, oh, they'll look up, I didn't know this was the church. So we got to hear them get this done, so people to know that this is the church. We got to be on this corner. We got to be out here, so people to know we're here. And when they need to talk or they need somewhere to go, this is the place to come so we can share with them. So that's my goals, as for our church. We do a good job, but there's so much more that we can do.
Because there's always so much more that's needed.
There's so much more that's needed.
And we recognize that.
And you don't have to go around the block, just right on your block.
Stay right in your building.
Yeah, right in your building. How many people in your building know where you go to church at? You invite them on bus outings and all this other stuff. But when the last time you invited somebody to come to church? Come see where I worship at. Or if you can't come, we live stream every Sunday. Go to our website, watch the live stream. You might get blessed. You might want to come and share. We're moving in an area where we want to market our church more, because marketing is very important. We, like I said, we live stream, but getting the church out there to know that we are here, and we're not just a building sitting on 233rd Street, but we're a church who ministers to people, who ministers to hurting people, who is there for the community. You don't have to pass by. You need this pastor for anything, you can call him. You need our church, your son and daughters, and how many people I go visit that don't even belong to our church? Or either one of my members said, Pastor, will you go visit this person? I go. That's what we need to do. That's what we have to do. I just don't go visit my people that's in the hospital or whatever. I'm visiting people all the time. I'm writing stories for people's children, telling them, they got a place to come and all of this, trying to help them get out of jail, trying to help them do this. We do all of these things. But there's much more that we can do beyond telling people that Christ is the answer. And truly, he is the answer. Watch this. He is the answer, but also he uses us to be the answer to the problem.
Exactly.
Okay? So he has to have hands. He has to have feet, because he's only here in a spirit. So what does he need? He needs us. He puts the answer in us. He puts the answer to the need. He gives us the resources to meet the need. But do we always do that? Because, we want big edifice. We want all of this. We want, and I see little churches with 30 and 40 people doing unbelievable stuff because they're focused on the heart of God. And when you focus on the heart of God, nothing you can't.
So when is your anniversary celebration?
Anniversary celebration is the third Sunday in October. Okay. And we'll be celebrating our church's 69th anniversary.
Wow.
Church 69 years old, had two pastors, the organizer and myself, and I've been there 35 years. They've put up with me for 35 years. I love them. They're good bunch of people. We've seen a lot of our seniors who either passed on, and see, that was the nucleus of the church, because seniors support young people. They come, they go, or they come, and you got to teach them giving, because they don't give like seniors do. Seniors will give, but we're blessed. Church has been, I have a good group of people. We're a small body, but we're a good group of people. They love their pastor, and they listen. And I appreciate that. They respect me, and I respect them. There's much to be done, and we're going to do our best to do what we can do. Hopefully we can bring others in, because there is power and there's strength in numbers.
Yes.
It's a proven fact, and I think we can do more. And I'm talking about going across denominational lines. Even with people we don't believe like, there's common ground.
Yes. Yes.
Where we can work together. We may have different spiritual beliefs, but there are common ground, because we all live in this neighborhood now. So there are common grounds where we can come together and fight injustice and things of this nature. So we're talking about crossing denominational lines. This is not all a Baptist thing or Methodist thing or Presbyterian. We got to come together.
It's a human thing.
Yeah, it's a human thing, and we have to come together. Because watch this. If it doesn't affect you today, it'll affect you tomorrow.
If not tomorrow, next week.
Next week.
But it's coming.
But it's coming. And so we've all got to group up together and be prepared for whatever it's coming. It's like Hurricane Florence.
Florence is coming.
It's coming.
She's here.
She's here. In the morning they say so what we got to do? We all are in this. Okay? So we all got to do what? Come together to prepare ourselves to
fight the storm.
To fight the storm. And that's the way it is with us today is people of color, people of different nationalities, different denominations, different backgrounds. There is a common ground that we've got to come together to fight the enemy that seeks to destroy us out, and more than anything, our children. And so we've got to come together to fight that enemy, and that's where the church is.
And with that, thank you so much.
Thank you so very much. I
so
appreciate it. I enjoyed it. This was a joy, I tell you.
It's about the love. We really, if we don't promote it, if we don't put the word out there, then people will say, well, I didn't know. Well, now we're taking away that excuse. You do know.
And let me say this finally. You put the word out there so that we'll know how we can make help sure, whatever in small way, that we make sure you stay on the air. Okay? Because we need this. We need this. You know, we get off and we do our own thing, but put the word out. You know, we got a website, so if we can.
I don't have a website yet because
you need to get one.
I'll do the show. I need somebody with that skill because I don't have that skill.
Oh, but all the people that you have met.
I know, and I actually paid someone to develop a website, but he went to jail instead. So
no, you need to have that website. This is good. This is what the community needs.
Well, that's what I'm on YouTube.
And I know that things like this take money. They take resources.
And I'm using my pension.
Okay. Well, you're using your pension, but
I know we're trying
like
to get underwriters and stuff like that. But I said, we don't have a whole big production because we're actually just providing our community with the information that they require so that we can move forward in a positive manner.
What if the organization I belong to, just what if, say, United Missionary Baptist Association, which is Association of Baptist Churches, what if we supported you?
I wouldn't fight it.
That's what I'm saying. We have to support those things that impact our community. And this is a channel to our community that people can know what's going on in our associations and our church. So what if the churches said, hey, you know what? If they said, hey, here's $100, help you to do what you need to do to keep the word flowing. That's what we got to do.
This is my fifth season. This is my fifth season.
I wouldn't have known if my administrative assistant hadn't told you.
Okay.
If she hadn't told me, because first of all, I don't have cable. But if she hadn't told me, I would have never known about this. And she was like, Pastor, I got to get you on this. I got to get you on this. I'm like, yeah, I got to get you on this. But I've learned something today that's very important. So now I'm going to be looking at ways, how can we, if we can send about $100 to that broadcast to keep her on the air, and you do like we do, we live stream.
Well, I can't lie. It is live stream. It's live streaming now.
I know it, but I'm talking about.
When the show airs,
I'm
on YouTube.
Yeah, okay, but I'm just saying everything costs money. If somebody just sends you.
I just say like that, and I never refuse anything when somebody actually helped to pay for editing because my editing is not exactly the best. I didn't say no thank you. I said, oh, thank you so much because maybe I can get a better editing and it'll look better on TV. But I said, I don't think people really care about how much it looks on TV, how good it looks. I think they care about the information that we're providing.
Absolutely.
And that's what I'm trying to do is just if I keep it out there, and I'm going to be here.
Well, we want to see you keep it out there. But at the same time, it doesn't ever hurt to get better and better.
I don't have
and I know
problem.
you're not knocking that.
Nuh-uh.
And like I said, information is very important, okay, because we're people who need to know.
Right,
You know,
that's
and most of the time, if you put it on paper, we don't read it. But if
maybe
you
you
say
see
it
it.
through, if you see it,
Maybe.
we will. Because you know what they say: if you don't want us to know it, put it in a book. Okay.
Right. So what I do is I have
So-
captions
so,
underneath
yeah,
on my
captions
show, so that
underneath.
so that you can get the information.
Yeah.
I'm speaking about it, but I'm going to provide you with that information because I need for our neighborhoods to get back to being neighborhoods.
Back to being neighborhoods.
Neighbors, because we don't know. Everybody doesn't know everybody anymore. Come on, you know when you
Oh,
grew up in
please.
Oklahoma, you knew
We knew
everybody.
everybody. I'd stop in the store and to buy something. I'd not spend 30 minutes talking to somebody I don't even know. That's the way it was back then. When I go home now, that's the way it is. But
get back
here,
to that.
I lived on a block and finally I said, I'm from Oklahoma. I'm not used to living like that. I need to know people. I started speaking to everybody on my block. And finally they figured out that I wasn't going to mug them. They could let their guard down. You know, so now on my block, I know everybody.
I've started because I was always in a rush. I'm always on my way to go someplace. I ain't got no time to do anything. So now I stop and smile.
Stop and
Just
smile.
say hi and keep it
I
moving.
say hi to everybody. Sometimes people will stop me and they go, you know, I just want to talk to somebody. I'll talk to them. Maybe in a rush, I'll stop and talk. But I've got, on where I live, 229th Street, that between Barnes and White Plains Road, I know my neighbors. You know, not the people who live next to me, I know the people up the street. Because we have common things to talk about. You can't find parking.
Oh, yeah.
So I said to one of my neighbors the other day, I said, you know what? My driveway is open after 12, because usually everybody's in. You could park. We have to work together and to do these things that make us closer together. I don't care what color you are.
Thank you.
You know, we just got to work together.
Thank you.
So thank you.
Okay, thank
Appreciate it.
And to my audience, I want to say, I want to thank you for choosing In My Shoes. I'm Hilda Kathy Broady, your host. Stay well. See you next week.
Yeah, M-Wham got a message for you. Check it out. How many of us offended by the boxers or the sagging pants in our community? I got a song for you. Check it out. Here we go. Come on.
Pull your pants up, pull your pants up. Pull your pants up, pull your pants up. Pull your pants up, pull your pants up.
Yeah.
It's the new style.
Collect, talk to me.
Say, Mr. Harris, sagging jeans is an epidemic.
That's right.
One that I've never been a fan of. And I can't stand how these young men, they sagging, they dragging. Come on, pull your pants up. And I know us girls, we in the wrong for not putting these fellas on.
You got the power.
But I'm offended by boxers. And I think that we all should be. You feel me?
Help me.
Pull your pants up, pull your pants up. Pull your pants up, pull your pants up. Pull your pants up, pull your pants up.
Why?
It's the new style. Pull your pants up, pull your pants up.
Yeah.
Pull your pants up, pull your pants up. Pull your pants up, pull your pants up. It'll make your mama proud.
Here we go.
We living in a world affected by an epidemic. Sagging jeans and sweatpants is how I'm living. Need to set the example to make the future right. So hear our message when we hit you with the chair, right?
Pull your pants up, pull your pants up. Pull your pants up,
It's kind of crazy.
pull your pants up, pull your pants up. It's the new style. Pull your pants up, pull your pants up. Pull your pants up, pull your pants up. Pull your pants up, pull your pants up. It'll make your mama proud.
I know you heard your belt say.